Evander Holyfield made his first title defense that he won from Buster Douglas against the former champion of the world, George Foreman. George was 42 years old. He came in at a rather hefty 257 pounds. Evander only 28. He a rather svelte 208. It was a very pro-Foreman crowd last night. Now the fight started with Holyfield fighting a very smart tactical fight. Now George sent a message to Evander in the second round that this was not going to be easy, and George did win that round. Now the third round was all Holyfield's, and the bell actually came in and saved Foreman as he was in real trouble at the end of number 3. The 7th round might have been Foreman's last real threat to Holyfield, but in the last minute of that round, Holyfield countered, took some of the steam out of Foreman, even though Foreman won the round. Well, the 12th round, it was all Holyfield, but it was Holyfield holding on. And this is what really shocked a lot of people and drew some boos, rather, from the crowd. He was well ahead on the scorecards, but he held on, and George Foreman ended up winning 2 of the 3 cards there for the 12th round. Okay, Alex Swallow, we were both there last night. It's been a long time since a heavyweight fight drew that much reaction. I'm interested in yours.
Well, Dan, George Foreman won an awful lot of hearts in the course of his 4-year comeback with the power of his personality, and he won even more last night with his courageous showing. Even the people who picked George to win didn't imagine that he could go the distance and stand up to so many clean power punches from a determined young unbeaten champion in Evander Holyfield. A lot of surprises, primarily George Foreman's endurance and chin, but at the end, it was Evander's edge going in, his stamina and his speed that were the difference for him.
Well, Alex, you had a chance to catch up with both fighters, the champion Evander Holyfield and George Foreman. We'll begin with George Foreman's interview, and Alex found him at 5:15 this morning.
George, you surprised a lot of people last night. Did you surprise yourself?
The biggest surprise is somebody let a mule out. He kicked me on this side and kicked me on that side. That was the greatest surprise. Other than that, I'm okay. It was a good fight. Everybody was happy. I was completely contented because I went to 12 rounds. I thought I had him knocked out 2 or 3 times. Maybe I spent too much time looking for a knockout, not on making points. The thing is, I got a game champion we have. Everybody should be proud of that fella.
What kind of game plan did you go in with, George, and what kind of adjustments did you have to make?
I went in looking for a knockout, and then in the middle rounds, I realized, hey, this guy's going to be around. So I started to build up points, not enough. And but realistically, he fought a great fight. I feel contented because I showed, look, he won, but it had nothing to do with my age. He had to reach deep down within him and prove that he was a champion. And I reached down and proved. And in the end, I had him holding on. But someone let a mule loose, and he kept kicking me.
Deep down in your heart, did you really believe that you could go the distance and perform that well?
Oh, yeah. It was a matter of just getting out there doing it. I was out of the ring for 10 years. Didn't even box. I came back to become a bona fide contender. Fought the heavyweight champion to somebody had to get the decision, and he's a fine man. He deserves it. But I proved for sure, age 40, 50, 60 is not a death sentence. You may get a lot of bruises, but hey, my.
Where do you go from here, George?
Well, Houston, Texas for the time being, but I'll be back with you. You've not seen the last of me. I shall return.
Evander, we talked last week about this fight being something of a no-win situation for you. Do you feel coming out of the fight that this fight was a plus?
Yes, I do feel that it's a plus because I guess the 2 different ages, 42 and 28, and both of us praying men. We both believe in prayer. We both believe in the Lord. And I feel that in this sense, both of us got the victory. You know, as 42 years old, the performance that he put up, it showed that, you know, at 42 years old, it's not a death sentence, and you can compete. And then for me, myself, it was a struggle throughout the whole fight, and it made me feel that I did all I could, and I had to prevail, and I think this guy, and I outsmarted him to win the fight, because at 42 years old, he was stronger. He was very strong, and I couldn't match him with the strength factor, and I had to match him with speed and the boxing finesse.
You hit him with some very, very strong, powerful punches of your own. Were you shocked that he was able to take those punches?
I'm very surprised. I never felt that I couldn't hit a guy with a clean, good shot and not take him out. And after hitting them shots and thinking in my mind, I said George had that power behind him and kept him standing.
In your mind, Evander, did you fight up to your capabilities in this fight? Was this the best you could be for this fight?
I felt that I did all I could do that night, and fighting a guy that, you know, as big as George, and his defense and his finesse. And George showed me more than I gave him credit for. he proven the fact that he do have the deceiving speed and that he is a very smart fighter.
One personal reaction, the George Foreman story was a great story. It's now even better, but I personally hope that it ends right here. George brought a lot of fun to a sport that's had very little since the heyday of Muhammad Ali, and you can make an argument that it's not the age of the fighter, it's the amount of punishment, and George has taken relatively little, and there will be tremendous financial temptations. But sometimes it's not just having the money, it's being able to count it as well.
But he didn't leave the ring with that title, although he certainly came out with everybody's respect. So is George ready to take his millions and retire?
4 years ago, I sat them down at the big table, all of the children and my wife, and I told them I was going back into boxing. They told me, no, you can't do it. And I argued that I could do it, and I'd be champ of the world, and I was going to fight for the title, and they argued, and I went on anyway. And eventually, they supported me. This time around, if I decide to do it again, the decision will be more of a democracy, if you know what I mean. It's going to be if they say no, it's not going to happen.
Part of me wants him to retire because I think he proved everybody wrong. You know, us included. I thought that Holyfield would win, but there's no way I thought he would go the distance. I'd like for him to take the millions and step aside.
Us included, I thought he'd win. He came darn close, but, you know, as you said, there are other fights out there. He can make him a lot of money, millions.
Of 42, this man attempted to recapture that title in a classic bout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the program our friend and hero, George Foreman. Enjoying a Fig Newton, are you? Thank you very much for coming back. I honestly, after watching that fight, I was surprised that you didn't take a couple of weeks off and just go someplace and kind of rest up a little bit. But you're here and you look great.
They told me you were going to have Fig Newtons.
Oh, that's all it took.
All the fun is back there.
Yeah, you know, I've been, like most people, I've been watching boxing the last, well, geez, all my life I've seen fights. And it seems to me that the last few years, when you watch a heavyweight championship fight, one of two or three things would happen. It would end in like the first 20 seconds of the first round, or it would be stopped early, or Don King would be there hanging around. And I didn't really think much of it until I saw your fight with Evander Holyfield on Friday night, and it reminded me of the...
Go right in.
Okay.
Don't let me bother you.
It reminded me of the old-time classic heavyweight championship bouts. It was very, very entertaining, and geez, you were really very impressive in that fight.
You know, it's strange. People ask me, why was I standing up in the corner? You said you were coming. So I kept standing up looking for you. You didn't show up.
You know, I wasn't there. That's right.
I was kind of upset about that. I was looking forward, looking all around.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
He's not here. I'm saving that one punch and you didn't show up.
Now, the seventh round of this thing, it looked like in the beginning that you were having a really strong round.
I was. I thought I had him discouraged. I was hitting him really hard.
Yeah, yeah. And
I was ahead in my mind. I had on the points and the whole deal.
Now, a little bit later in the round, he kind of came back from being in trouble and got you, it looked like, really in trouble.
Boy, he really hit me hard.
Yeah.
That was the round I thought, my goodness. I went back to the corner and my guys were saying, hey, you're doing good. What fight are you looking at?
Yeah.
So I think, well, they say you're ahead on points. And I wanted to say, well, let him have the rest. Let's get out of here.
Were you hurt at all?
It's hard to say hurt when a guy's almost broken your ribs and your jaw.
Yeah.
There has to be another word in the dictionary for other than hurt.
So you were enduring a great deal of pain then?
Not so much pain. I was just wondering, why is he hitting me like that? I'm a nice guy. I haven't done anything to her. But much.
And
but, he's a tough youngster.
Oh, he's
champion.
A very impressive
champion.
fighter. But now you look like you're a little swollen here in the face. Is that from the fight?
You having more cookies?
and
George want a cookie. I'm a cookie.
And you also have sunglasses on. Do you still have some black eyes there?
No, I changed my mind.
Yeah, no,
I wanted to show it to you.
You look pretty good, yeah.
But I got hit a few times. I didn't get cut. I was so happy about that. My wife, she seemed not to mind when I come home. There's a bruise here and there, but she hates the idea of I may be getting cut in these boxing matches. So I came home and I said, look, you don't recognize me, but I'm not cut.
Yeah. You know, it's whenever you would rally and launch a really positive kind of attack there on Holyfield, the place would go nuts. That must have been really inspiring for you.
Well, I said all along that if George Foreman wins, it's a victory for the planet itself.
Right.
It's true. Yeah. Now, I came on the scene in the 40s, and here it is in the 90s. Yeah. It's proof that after all the Chernobyl and dumping in the sea, that the planet is in good shape. Yeah. Up there saying, look, we're going to be here for a few more years. The world is not coming to an end.
Yeah. Yeah.
So every time he'd get me and I'd come back, they'd say, okay, hip, hip for the planet.
Well, you know, as I'm watching you, and as everybody's watching you, I think that the same thing was apparent to everybody. I mean, you may have lost the fight. You did not win the fight, which was your goal. But there is now completely no doubt that you're a champion. I mean, it was a tremendous effort. Yeah, stay right here. And we'll come back here with George Foreman. We have more cookies, kids, so come on back. Let me ask you a couple more things about the big night there. At ringside, of course, you had your old contemporaries, your peers. How did that make you feel? You talked to Ali?
People ask me, don't you feel your age? But before the fight started, they introduced Joe Frazier.
Right.
Then Muhammad Ali.
Right.
And they stepped out of the ring, and I started thinking, should I step out or what? That's when I felt my age. I felt so abandoned by my contemporaries.
What did they have to say to you before the fight?
Frazier was like, go get him. Muhammad whispered, I'm praying for you.
Yeah.
I said, thank you.
What about your plans now? I know you have mentioned that, well, what are you going to do now?
Well, it's up to my wife. She's had to play mama, daddy, doctor, lawyer, and the whole deal for the last 4 years. It was all about me. Now, if she decides no more, there won't be any more. But if she said one more year, I'll go for it.
Yeah.
I'd fight Evander Holyfield once more.
Oh, man, now that would be an unbelievable fight.
But anyway, you just don't know. I'm going to make up my mind before I make a decision, because once I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
You have any interest in fighting Tyson?
Oh, I'd like to fight Mike Tyson, too. It would be good for the videos, historical videos, to get in the ring with him.
Now, and what...
He wouldn't run like Evander Holyfield. He'd come in and slug it out with me.
Yeah. If you think Holyfield was running...
He's not around here.
Yes, he is. He's here, George.
Oh, no, I was just teasing him.
He is here. Is he still over there? Is he still? All right, here he is, the heavyweight champion, Evander Holyfield. Share your cookies there with your friend. Evander, congratulations on a successful title defense. Was he about what you thought he was going to be? A little more, a little less? What do you think?
More, a lot more.
Yeah.
Especially around the waist.
Yeah. Did he hurt you at all? Do you think you hurt him at all?
He knocked me around the ring. And
yeah.
Everybody's seen that. George is the strongest guy I ever fought again, and I'm not just talking about physical, I'm talking about mentally.
Yeah.
Usually I'm able to break a man down mentally. With George, not that night.
Yeah. And you guys have become friends through all of this, haven't you?
We've always been friends.
Yeah. And was that tough to get into the ring based on this friendship?
I want to blink my eye, but I don't want you to see it. I want to give you a little wink of the eye. We've always been friends, sure.
You're already working on the rematch, aren't you? You're already hyping the rematch a little.
This is a great champion.
Yeah.
This is a great heavyweight champion.
All right. Are you... George has to get his plans through his wife before he makes a decision. And is she making plans for you as well, or do you? Are you gonna? Will your next fight be Tyson?
Well, hopefully, if things could work.
Well, you know, I think both of you guys did a really very terrific thing there in Atlantic City. It was very impressive to watch. I mean, you're a hell of a fighter, and you got a hell of a heart, and it was something to witness. And thanks again. It was nice to see you. Evander, Holyfield, George, thank you very much for being here. All right, we'll pause now for station identification.